Alright guys, so the day is here. We are finally going to check out the Skullcandy Crusher 360. With the new Crusher 360, they are promising better bass frequency, picking up lower frequencies. They've added touch control, but they've also knocked the battery life from 40 hours all the way back to 29 compared to the Crusher Wireless. So are these improvements worth the $300 price tag? We will see in the video, but first let's check out what's inside the box. These are labeled as limited edition, so I'm not sure how long these will be available. Inside the box, you can see that there is an extremely nice hard case. It does come with a little packet of instructions, different ways to help you connect, and it also has some Skullcandy logo stickers as well, which is a nice touch if you want to slap it on your laptop. The hard case does have a little hook here, that way if you want to have like a little carabiner and hook it to your bag. This case is extremely hard and very, very protective. Once you open the case, there is a little pouch inside of the case that will hold the accessories. Now, accessory wise, it comes with the micro USB. Yes, I said micro USB. They're still using this for charging. The Crusher 360 also has fast charging, so it says with 10 minutes of charge, you can get 3 hours of battery life. It does also come with the headphone cable if you want to use them that way. It also has the little control box that has volume control, track control, and you can answer your calls on it as well. So looking at the headphones, I can tell that obviously it has a very similar look to the Crusher Wireless, but I will tell you right now, there are some things that they definitely improved on, but I'm going to do a comparison video between the Crusher 360 and the Crusher Wireless, so I'll get into a little more detail of what I think between the two, but this video is just going to focus on the Crusher 360. The headband on these is very nice, very sturdy. Right underneath that where the bracket is and it starts with your Skullcandy logo, this is a metal frame. It's not plastic, really well built. These feel extremely good. They do fold down so that they can fit inside the hard case. They went with a softer memory foam in the Crusher 360, and they also added that in the headband up top. Your left and right are marked on the inside, and the one thing that I don't know if they got a lot of complaints or they just finally listened to me, but they don't have the exposed cables inside of the headband. That's one thing I always say that just worries me, because anything can happen to the cables. It can catch, it can pull, and then your headphones are kind of useless. This is the black and tan model. I did notice that they have an all black model as well. But as far as a pair of headphones that you pick up, these actually feel premium. They don't feel cheap. I really like the construction and the build that they went with these. And with this memory foam, it's a really good seal. Sound does actually leak quite a bit. So if you listen to these at high volume, people around you are going to know exactly what you're listening to. Let's look on the left-hand side. On the bottom, you have your micro USB port for charging, and then you have your headphone input jack. Right above that, this is where the power button sits on here. And this power button does a couple of different things. Obviously, one, you hold it and it will turn on. While the headphones are on, if you simply just tap the button, using these 5 little lights that are underneath it, it will show you your battery life. Now, also on the left-hand side, this is where they added touch control. Just simply by touching the side and sliding your finger up, that will push your bass level up, and touching the side and sliding it down will bring your bass down. On the right hand side, you have 3 buttons. This has become the norm for the newer line of Skullcandy headphones. In the middle, you have your play and pause button, then you have your volume up and volume down, and then in that is also the buttons you use to skip forward and skip backwards just simply by holding them. So now we get into sound. New Skullcandy Crusher 360 retails for $300. So going into the Skullcandy line, hitting that $300 mark is a premium price for their type of headphones. And to be honest, it's a premium price for a lot of headphones. So for $300, how did Skullcandy do on the sound? Well, there's different levels to this, and this review is gonna maybe get a little confusing when it comes to the sound. So I'm gonna try to explain this the best way that I can. Sound on these are very rich, and obviously with bass, it can have a very thick and full sound. So with these, they promise that it picks up a lower frequency and more range than the original Crusher Wireless. And with doing that, I noticed that with some things, it was a huge improvement, but also with some things, it really destroyed some songs too. Let me explain. Some songs have different levels of bass frequencies. There's some things that are so low, but they're really meant to just kind of be an undertone. It's not meant to be brought forward. Now, what these are doing, depending on how much bass that you push these up to, if you have the bass pushed to a certain level, it's pulling these low frequencies that are really made to be in the background and not be pushed forward. It's kind of bringing them forward, and sometimes it's way too overpowering and the song just doesn't sound like what you know it to sound like. Bass hits extremely hard. Obviously with the name like Crushers, you can expect that, but I did notice on certain songs it can hit way too hard, and there's actually, and that's not just with hip hop, that was even with metal. Like if the double bass drums are going on but yet the bass guitar is hitting these certain notes, if it starts to pick up the frequency that the bass guitar has and is pulling it that much forward and it's mixing it with the drums, it kind of becomes a mess on some songs, and so you're sitting there constantly trying to adjust your bass. So what that's causing is, you know, if you're listening to a bunch of different songs and you're trying out a bunch of different things, you find that a lot of the time every song that comes on, you're sitting there trying to adjust to get it to match whichever song you're on. And so, you know, it kind of pulls away from just throwing them on and listening to music, that you kind of have to play DJ every time something comes on and adjust your levels. Now, mids and highs actually sound really good. I did notice that vocals come through really clear. The sound stage is opened up a little more. Again, these aren't a wide sound stage headphone. They're not going to open up and let you pick apart all these little things, and that's not what they're intended for. These are casual listening headphones. People that like pop, metal, hip hop, just fun, that's what these are intended for. Another thing that I do need to point out is that the volume level on these, I felt could get a little higher. That is with maxing out the volume level on my phone. Obviously the bass level doesn't need to be any higher. That can get to the point where we could turn this on and I think it would actually move on my desk. These have bass impact like I've never seen. So do I think they're worth the $300? It's kind of hard to say. $300 puts it into a range of just so many great headphones out there. Obviously for $300, I still think that these are better than the Beats line of headphones that fall into the same price range. I do like what they did with the build quality. I do like that they listened to people that said that these still are not reacting to certain frequencies. But I think now with doing that, with the haptic feedback that these have, the vibration that these have, in some cases it just adds way too much bass to a point to where you either have too much bass and when you try to pull out of it, it just kind of kills it. But again, still on most music, really fun to listen to, really exciting headphone. $300 is just, it's a lot. I would honestly say that, you know, if you're a huge fan, these being limited edition, you just want them like I did, then yes. But if you're just now looking at headphones, there's much better options for $300. And if you really want bass, then the Crusher Wireless is still a great selection, and now half the cost of these. So guys, that is my review of the Crusher 360. I'm excited that I finally got to check these out. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you guys so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, guys, make sure to stay tuned for more.